Oh, as I said, I was going to do video number 2, which is this one now. So, okay, video number 2 is a request from an email from Denmark. Somebody wanted to know how I made bead or ball lightning. Okay, well, I said I'd make a video on it, and why not? So, well, it was mostly active in about 84 to 87 time frame when I had the big substation kind of laboratory situation, if you want to call it a lab, I call it a collection. But anyway, so I inherited these large, heavy plasma capacitors, which were each 500 joule, 25,000 volts DC, low inductance type, used in plasma research at the University of British Columbia, Canada. And then I also had at that time 400,000 volt DC transformers out of a hospital. They're X-ray transformers, very heavy, big things. I believe 400,000 volts. Yeah, I think so. Up to that. And they had vacuum tube rectifiers and stick rectifiers inside in the oil bath. Anyway, you need direct current, lots of it, let's say, at very high voltage, and a variac to adjust that. The variac will handle the load coming in, basically 220, 110, 220, interestingly enough, which is kind of cool. So anyway, I was lucky to have a lot of these transformers. So anyway, so I used very heavy wire for transmission of the DC via insulators and wire through to the capacitor bank, and I had along there a voltage regulation and ampere regulation system, basically nichrome wires, primitive but effective. So the sparking gap, as it was called, would build the charge up within 60 seconds, 20,000 volts, longer for higher voltages. And there were two sharp point pieces, well, kind of blunted in, tungsten out of an aircraft ignition system. These were mounted on insulators on a bakelite board made for high voltage research. And also had a weak magnetic field around all of that that I could adjust with variacs as well, and a high electrostatic field around that as well, with corona rings holding in the electrostatic. So on occasion, I would get a bead lightning. I take little pieces of metal and have them put them onto the discharge terminals for them to explode. And I would indeed get some weird little round balls that would last maybe several seconds or 5 seconds. And sometimes bigger, but they were white in color, depending on metal exploded. Green with kind of like different colors involved in the green, like a bright light yellowish stuff. And these things would, as I said before, last several seconds. The longest I remember, 5 seconds maybe. One, it went out through the tube. I had a tube that would throw them out. This is on my slideshare.net, the whole construction process I used at that time. But it was not all the time. I was lucky to get a few once in a long time. And I noticed that electrostatics and magnetic fields are an important factor in the high voltage discharge of direct current. So anyway, I think that answers your question, I hope. Now, where to get this stuff? I was lucky in Vancouver. I was all over the place. So if you're in the Defense Department or whatever, get me a warship or a military industrial SDIO, old abandoned site where they dump everything, and I could use the stuff. Anyway, it's hard to find these days. It's a warm one today, so I'm kind of relaxing. A bit warm, number one. So that is about balls. Speaking of balls, if this is still sitting here, this unique squishy stuff that you make for earplugs, you could, as I said, make a phallic symbol out of it and squeeze it on off like a round ball and let it unfold. It would be a laugh and a half. See how it kind of just comes back out? Oh, gee, I forgot to look on eBay for this stuff last night. I'm looking for L-arginine. It's taking forever. Produces growth hormone and nitric acid. And what else did I find? Oh, silver nitrate sticks in case I get a nosebleed. I can do my own self-cauterization like the fellow on YouTube does. And some other things. Yeah, I think some other. See, I'm always with projects, so I always need metal and things. So, answering your question. I took the hose and watered myself today too. It's pretty warm out. So it cools me off. So my little dress is wet. Okay, it's time for me to act silly or what? No, I guess not. Got to be in the mood. Be in the mood to act silly. Here we go again. So I gotta keep this because it takes forever for these things to upload on the YouTube with that stupid. Well, it's online. Hey, got a light. Guess that won't burn, will it? Okay. I got that piece of metal in my knee, I believe. I had a pair of pliers and pull it out. I'm such a narcissistic thing, aren't I? I'm such a bitch. I'm just an old bitch. I can act funny on this one. Who cares? Oh, don't we look so Klingonish today, don't we? Rhino rocket. Let's see how. Oh, that looks kind of hot, doesn't it? Okie dokie, we're having fun now, sort of. Girls and squirrels, huh? I got some ready all thread, you call it down here. Lucked out on 1 inch thick all thread. Oh, look at that. Let's see. I'll modify this thing or plan. That looks pretty weird, doesn't it? What the hell? I'm not wearing my Klingon dress yet. Should have when doing these stupid videos, but it's fun being yourself. Most people can't be themselves because they got psychological blockers. Religion and family and people, what people might think. So that's the problem with most people. They can't really be who they are. So I'm kind of like, I like being who I am right now. Just flow with the water, you know, like. I'm not religious, by the way, number one. I don't really want to prove anything. I kind of understand what it's all about anyway. Well, and don't you think you don't? Yeah, I know you want to be who you are, but you're too afraid to because your colleagues or society or others will. Oh, what are you doing? That's kind of weird. Go see the psychiatrist and get you SRRI drugs, which will make you really goofy. As I witnessed with certain emails of certain people that have done themselves in, which is very sad. Anyway. Huh. It's interesting though. Reflecting on that whole situation. And it's interesting too, and a lot of people agree with me on this too. Also, if you listen to the media and believe it, you will slowly be manipulated into thinking differently about certain things. It's quite interesting, really. The gamesters. So I don't. All news I have stopped watching. I used to watch some of it sometimes, but I don't watch it anymore. Not for quite a while. And anything on the internet or that, I just block it. I don't want to know about it. Thank you. I'll read people's personal issues, but not the garbage that all the power people put out there, making you believe certain things and convincing you in time, and then you follow them. And you don't even know what's causing certain things in the world. It's not kept. It's kept from you, so you don't really know. Kind of sad, but I recognize what's going on. So anyway, it's gonna take a little while to upload. So how far can I go without getting banned from YouTube? Huh? There are limitations. Okay, you got to respect other people's whole paradigms. So it's not good to go against that. So if I'm going to a scrapyard, for instance, I'll get dressed up in I call a business suit, pair of blue jeans and just a shirt. And I don't act like this in front of people. You gotta know the differences, like being in a different country. You gotta know all the laws and regulations. Like you're going to Egypt or where I've been all over the planet. You gotta study their laws and customs and just do that and enjoy it. It's fun. It's fun following people's customs. And if you go into a church, let's say I will go into a church just for this interesting study of it. But I will not be disrespectful to those people. So you shouldn't be as well. So if you're going to be yourself, do it with good fun. I mean, it's okay to do it on this stupid YouTube thing. And other friends who accept you as you are. But in certain situations, just be cautious. It's just the world as it is. One of those situations. So if I was going to go in and see the local constabulary or whatever, if I get a gun permit, I wouldn't do it like this. I'd do it and, well, kind of dressed a little differently. As far as my hair goes, it stays, and there's no problem with that. So I've always had that issue. You see the first news broadcast of me levitating stuff. I was wearing a Eva Gabor style hair custom. Smoking a pipe. News story number 2, I think my hairstyle was a little off. Number 3, I really had a. And all the other ones, oh hell, who cares? Different styles, but anyway. Okay. Just be yourself and don't stress out. And don't worry about certain things that don't ever will happen or are not real. A lot of stuff you believe in is not real. Sorry, but it's true. Maybe a lot of stuff in my neurosis I think is a problem is probably not. Isn't it amazing as humans? So I'm going to go on that note. I need lipstick, I think, don't you think, and some more makeup? Okay, I'm going to go.